most wasn't the friends I lost in combat, it was the friends we kept losing.
Robert Evans, the long article on it? Oh shit, dude. If he made a long article on it, I guess that's, then okay, I guess they did take it over.
After. It takes its toll.
All right, let's watch this middle ground.
What made you join the military?
I made a lot of bad choices when I was in high school, and I needed something that would give me an opportunity and a chance.
When I was a kid, there was a Marine that lived around the corner from me, and he stood tall and erect. He was just so proud. From that day on, I knew I wanted to be a Marine.
I personally would not recommend my own children enlist in the military. I just feel like there's a lot of variables that could go wrong, and I'm not entirely confident that the
Yo, this dude literally looks like he's a part of JROTC. Like, this dude is giving out, you're disrespecting a future Marine energy right now, okay?
government would take care of them post-service.
Some unfair judgments that I've really seen is in the civilian sector. When you come out, there's a lot of things that you're taught in the military within your communication that could be viewed as aggressive.
A lot of people assume that you're crazy or that you have PTSD, that there's something wrong with you.
Some sort of ticking time bomb that walks around. It's just not the case, or that we're all bloodthirsty savages. We're not against anybody. We're not for anybody. We are truly of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Talk about critical racism theory. Kind of racist, dude. What is kind of racist? Your mom? I know. I'm trying to fuck the hate out of her, though. Got him. That's all I'm going to say. Going forward, I'm never going to take these idiotic takes seriously. I'm just going to say I had sexual intercourse with your mother, and she enjoyed it, and move on.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Danny Sharp, Army, 8 years.
I'm Dave. I'm a retired Marine from about 4 or 5 decades ago. Maybe you can't tell by looking at me. I was in the Marine Corps for 20 years, and I worked for the VA afterwards and a couple of other jobs, and here I am.
My name is Mahadi, and I was in the U.S. Army for 4 years.
My name is Peter. I've been in the U.S. Army, active duty, and the reserves for 22 years.
What's up, fellas? How are we? My name's Elliot. I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years.
The first prompt is, I enlisted at 18 years old. Come forward if that's true for you.
I enlisted at 18 because, honestly, college really wasn't an option for me. I wasn't exactly the most intelligent high school student. I failed numerous classes. I knew that I wanted to be a Marine from a young age. So as soon as...
I can't believe they had Chris Dorner on for this. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of controversial, to be honest, but bold of Jubilee to go there. You know what I mean? You really can't corner him. I mean, you can see that right here. Crazy.
As I graduated high school, literally 5 days after I graduated high school, I was on the Yellow Footprints in boot camp.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I left 2 weeks after I graduated high school, but I had a less than normal childhood, we'll say.
Racist? I mean, Dorner is also, I think, a Marine Corps veteran and kind of looks like him, so...
So the military was a way that it would offer me a chance to have a stable adult life once I progressed after the military too.
I was looking to get away. You know, I grew up here in the South Bay area, had a fairly comfortable life, graduated at 17, but they picked me up from my 18th birthday party, and my first day of being 18 was spent at Fort Leonard Wood in processing.
Wow.
At basic, so.
That sucks.
Yeah, you know, one hell of an 18th birthday present, you know, welcome to boot, we're shaving your head.
Yeah, people be like, damn, dude, I can't believe you're doing sex work. You're selling your body for money. That's terrible. And then turn around and sell their bodies to the fucking U.S. government, dude.
So my story is actually a little different. I enlisted with the Navy when I was 17, and then I failed out of high school. The Marine Corps took me as far as MCRD, and then they found a heart murmur, and I got sent home. I pissed away a year of my life making awful choices, and one day woke up and walked downstairs where my father was waiting in the dining room, and I said, if I don't join the Army or the Air Force, I am going to end up face down in a ditch probably in a couple of weeks because I have nothing. And a couple of weeks later, I raised my right hand, and they gave me some waivers, and I joined. And I was 19 when I enlisted, and I turned 20 in basic training.
Wow.
Oh.
I think the beginning of my military was like yours. I had gotten kicked out of high school or dropped from the academic roles because of not
Bro, there's a couple different types of people who join the military. Let me give you my completely fucking non-personal take that is going to trigger a bunch of people, but most veterans and most active duty people will agree. Okay? You have the dudes that come from broken homes and like shit-ass backgrounds who want to fucking run away from their families. A lot of times that's partnered up with predatory practices, predatory recruitment practices, and also a Camaro that you can potentially buy, okay, that you can purchase. Then you have the military family guys who are also, ironically, oftentimes coming from shitty backgrounds as well. Or they're doing it because, like, everyone in their fucking family is military, okay? They're like, well, my dad was military, my, grandfather was military, I'm gonna fucking be military. And then you have the real freaks, okay? The officer, like, ROTC program Andes that, like, literally fast track into becoming an officer. All the other, kids who enlisted at 18 fucking hate them. And all those psychos then turn around and go and, get a fucking MBA at Harvard. And then before you know it, they're Tom Cotton walking around talking about how, we need to actually destroy everyone who says they are Democratic Party members, Actually, I don't even know if, yes, I watched Jack Reacher too. What the fuck is Jack Reacher? But I don't even know if Tom Cotton was an officer, but usually. Yeah, and then they go and fucking work at McKinsey and then become a politician. Okay? That's the three broad military American military backgrounds that you get.
passing 3 academic subjects, which they told us. And so now I'm in Philadelphia walking the street.
Active duty military here, pretty accurate. You're missing that I joined the serve my country types. Yeah, but that type is dying. And I don't mean literally. I mean, like, this type no longer exists as much. And the reason for that is because 9/11 is a distant memory. And 18-year-olds don't know 9/11. So they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I joined the serve my country types. There's a lot of you in here that literally did that. Okay? There's a lot of you who probably did that. There's people who fucking toured, shit like that. Post 9/11, enlistment went up. Like, enlistment skyrocketed. Everybody was trying to join the military because they were whipped up in like this almost religious fervor to defend America from our enemies, both domestic and foreign. But that type doesn't exist anymore, which is why like the American military has like increased the predatory recruitment practices by trying to fucking lock you in at the age of 14 with like a finals mouse or whatever the fuck those things are called, with sweepstakes and shit like that. But like no one gives a shit anymore about the American military. Like, they don't care. Americans don't care. They just don't. It's just a job. It's a job. It's a shitty job. You act like you give a fuck. You do this, okay? You go, oh my God, I love our vets. But in real life, it's just like no one cares. Like, absolutely zero people care. It's these are wars that our young are fighting, that are slated to never end. Terrible. It's devastating. Like, the whole purpose is that the war has to go on forever so that the American military-industrial complex can continue making money.
Streets by myself, no friends. And I went down to the recruiter And he said, you got to get your parents' consent because you're only 17. He gave me the paperwork, so I took it home, and my father signed right away. And so I was off to the Marine Corps at 17. And I got out, and I stayed out for a little over a year, and I went back again, and I did 3 more years, and I got out again. I must not have been happy. Maybe I was confused. I came back in after that.
Well, see, that's more the point. You kept coming back for more.
There's something special about being a part of an organization where we all went through the same crucibles, you guys literally.
Right, yeah.
And instantly have a bond with them that we just don't have with other people.
My military experience has affected my mental health.
Coming out of the military, regardless of the experience you've been through, I mean, I don't know who else has been operated within combat zones, but
You're a piece of shit. People are literally willing to die for you to say shit takes like that. What the fuck is wrong with you? Says _Austin. Yeah, dude, you're totally right. It's so funny though that like the vets in here agree with me, but you, random chatter, JROTC Andy over here, are like, people are willing to die for you. Hey man, can you explain to me as easily as you can, as quickly as you can, how killing a pedophile goat herder in Afghanistan is going to defend my liberties? Or how that same pedophile goat herder was ever going to impact my free speech in any meaningful capacity? Please explain that. Okay? Giving like bags and bags of cash to random pedophile warlords in Afghanistan is not defending my free speech. Okay? Not happening. Nice job strawmanning his argument, lol. That is not a strawman argument. These people are willing to die for you doesn't mean anything. Just because someone says they're willing to die for you doesn't mean that like what they're ultimately doing is legitimately defending like my rights or my liberties. Okay? Do you have any idea what the special forces do, like SEAL teams, MARSOC, Rangers, and Airborne Division do? Sorry. Yes, you're right. Murdering an American asset and then blowing up $1 million fucking helicopter in the process is what one of the wonderful things that the SEAL teams does. You know, murdering an American CIA asset that is literally 1 block down from the Pakistani like fucking military complex, jerking off to hentai, playing Nintendo 64, murdering that guy and blowing up a helicopter in the process is what the SEAL teams do, or massacres in general. Some of you should probably talk to veterans who have a better understanding of the things that they did. Okay? Maybe it will open your perspective. Actually, you know what? I'll play one of my favorite videos of all time. Okay? Friend of the show. Abby Martin's boyfriend / husband, I guess. I don't know if they're married or not. Mike Preisner. Here. Don't listen to me. Hear a veteran's take on it. Okay? How about that? What?
Susan Brothers, thanks everyone for being here.
He was arrested outside the White House with 130 other veterans from the Iraq War.
Susan Brothers, thanks everyone for being here. We're from the organization March Forward. We are here to say to all those serving in the Army and the Marines and the Air Force and the Navy that you have the absolute right to refuse to take part in these criminal wars, and that's a right that all of you should exercise. You have no reason to go put your life on the line and kill and die for profit. We've been to Iraq, we've been to Afghanistan, and we know what these wars are really about. And we joined the military for many reasons. Because we need a college education, because we need a job, because we need health care. And then we joined the military, and they tell us that our enemies are poor people in caves in Afghanistan, or poor people in the deserts of Iraq. But we've been to those countries, and we know that our enemies are not other poor people abroad. Our enemies are the people that laid us off from our jobs, that denied us health care, that make it impossible to get an education. Our enemies are not in the poorest countries on the planet, but right here in the richest one. The occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan alone are costing over $700 million every single day. This is a crime every single day, while so many of us are hurting. Well, I think all of us here and the vast majority of people in this country would agree that we can spend $700 million a day better than bombing people that we have no reason to bomb. We can spend $700 million a day rebuilding those countries we've destroyed. We can spend $700 million a day caring for the veterans we get home when they get home, and then we can spend $700 million a day giving every single person health care, a college education, a job, and a livelihood, and a home. That's what we need to be spending our money on. But this government is not going to do that. They're not going to use the money in that way. They're not going to end the wars. And they're not going to do it because it's not our government. It's their government. It's the government of the rich. It's the government of Wall Street, of the oil giants, of the defense contractors. It's their government, and the only language that they understand is shutting down business as usual. And that's what we're doing here today, and we're going to continue to do until these wars are over. It's crystal clear now that these wars are going to continue and expand and go into other countries. That is the trend. That is what we know, that there is perpetual war, and it's only going to stop if the people stand up and stop it. And that's what we're going to do, sisters and brothers. A lot of people ask me, what do we do? Because we all know things are bad. We all see the atrocities on TV. We read about it. We experience it. People always ask, what do I do? Because we always want to know what to do. Do we vote? Do we support a politician? Do we join an organization? What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. It's simple. We fight. We fight, and we fight, and we fight, and we shut down our workplaces. We shut down our schools. We shut down the streets. We shut down business as usual. And we fight until we force the people in there to do what the people out here want. Because that's how we're going to get around, and we're going to fight until there's not one more bomb drop, not one more bullet fired, not one more soldier coming home in a wheelchair, not one more family slaughtered, not one more day of U.S. imperialism. So let's fight to make that happen. We can do it today, and in the days ahead, we have to fight to end these wars and create a better world, sisters and brothers.
You know what's funny? They arrested him after this. So this dude, put his life on the line to defend our free speech, brother, and then got arrested for exercising it. Okay? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so, the DOD is the world's largest hiring body. Okay? Followed by sometimes the Chinese military and followed by Walmart. They switch off, but the Department of Defense is like the Pentagon is the largest single organization that hires the most people. Wait, did this guy get banned or something? What happened? Hey, Pega, do you have any idea what the special forces do? Hey, what's up, dude? What happened? We haven't heard from this guy since I mean, I know it's like a sock account, but maybe he switched off it to his main. I don't know what happened. You know what the special forces do? Yeah, dude.
That people don't realize is they look at PTSD, they look at the trauma that we face and that we see in those types of environments, but they don't understand the emotional take that you go through as you just basically transition out of the military, and you lose a real part of yourself, that family, that connection.
Being that you're still in,
Yeah.
how do you adapt to having to deal with mental illness while still being in the military now?
When I answered this question of I agree with the military service has affected my mental health, I mean that in both a positive and a negative way. The sudden absence of regimentation when I left active duty and joined the reserves was so stark and so difficult for me to deal with that I quite literally fell apart. I lost my father in 2009, had a deployment immediately afterwards. The crazy thing is that the deployment's what saved me. Now, there's a positive side to this.
Of course.
I don't feel at any point that it's completely hopeless. There's always a fight that can be won.
Yeah, the thing that honestly has gotten me the most has been, I didn't realize what I experienced in Iraq would have such a powerful impact on my life. One of the things that I went through was my CO got killed in Iraq. And I unfortunately was not on that patrol, so I think about it all the time. And every Memorial Day, I think about it. Every Veterans Day, I think about it. And I'm thinking about my situation, like, I can't believe that only one deployment did all this to me. I came home with PTSD, anxiety, depression, hyper-awareness. It's just a whole laundry list of issues. And I was able to find my calling in the music industry, and now I'm able to take the platform that I've been given and inspire other people.
It's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual strength and endurance that gets us through. I mean, you're not alone. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've got survivor's guilt as well. But you know what got me the most? The thing that broke me down the most wasn't the friends I lost in combat, it was the friends we kept losing after. It takes its toll.
First of all, I consider myself very fortunate that because of my service, I didn't experience any kind of significant mental health challenges. But because of my job, I saw a lot of people that did, whether they were coming back from deployment and just messed up by the hell of war, or even the issues that we have stateside when we have suicide, murders, sexual assault, things like that. They're all affecting the mental health of the force currently.
I find that I have been extremely concerned and helpful for veterans that I know are running that Veterans Administration gauntlet to benefits. I don't know if I was affected, my mental health was affected because I have this really desire to want to help guys and women through this VA gauntlet that they have to go through, which is a maze to them.
You know, we have a lot of veterans, like our culture in the military is like, hey, just tough it out.
Suck it up.
Suck it up, you
right.
know.
Yeah.
Take a
that
knee, drink water, face out,
Yeah.
full security.
That we kind of carry that into the civilian world, and now, you know, we're trying to shift the culture where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
ask for help. You know, it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help, you know.
I have felt sympathy for those we've fought.
Our business that we have had, the titles that we have held, have been a business of trying to prevent the loss of life by causing the loss of life. It is a difficult choice to make, to pull the trigger. It's the hardest trigger pull that you'll ever feel in your entire life, is to pull that trigger with someone on the other end. I could not do my job as a leader in today's Army if I was not able to see the person on the other end of my rifle as a human being. We try to train each and every soldier, Marine, Airman, and Sailor, that a target is only a silhouette, to take away that shock value, to take away that burden of responsibility of what you're about to do. But the inability to sympathize with another human being would make our job impossible. If someone is hurt, if someone is wounded, if someone is injured, if someone is sick, if someone needs to give birth, and they are not wearing an American flag, we will still render that because we have to have that sympathy. We have to have that empathy.
Bro, but like also at the same time, why are they hurt? Like, why are they hurt? Why are they in need of medical attention? Just think. It's not like they randomly fell down the stairs and you happen to be there and now you're there to help. Like, they're in need of medical attention because, you know, they either got shot by other homies in your battalion or, you know, a bomb fucking exploded over their house.
Or we can't continue. We just can't.
Our ethics and our humanity are the only things that really keep us intact when we're there and allow us to come back into the civilian sector and still be human beings. We're dealing with anxiety, we're dealing with depression. But for the first time that I've seen, you have men and women that have the capacity and compassion for themselves to reach out for help, to talk about these events, to bring awareness.
Yeah, Elliot, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You lost your CO.
Yeah.
And that hurts. I lost some friends. When they took him from you, what was the initial response? Did you feel the way that I felt, that hate and that rage?
Immediately when we got the call on the radio about the IED that exploded under his Humvee and killed him, I wanted to grab my rifle and run to where they were and just unload. That anger sat in me for a while. Looking back now, I'm able to understand more about maybe why they did what they did. Culture, society, and I understand that that is what was the driving force behind what they were doing.
I think we're all privileged to live in the United States, and we have a broader view of how the world works around us. They may not. And their idea of good is much different from our idea of good.
I remember being in Iraq, going on foot patrols, and I would have sympathy for the civilians, the citizens of Iraq, of Ramadi, because they would ask us for basic things like water, soccer balls, you know, things that we take advantage of every single day here. And I was sitting there walking around with my rifle on patrol thinking, these people don't have these basic necessities. They can't get food, they can't get water, the kids don't have toys to play with. That must suck.
And to think if this was my country, if I'm in Los Angeles, California, and a foreign force invades, what am I gonna do? What would I do? You're damn right that I would probably be on the other end of that. I would be the terrorist. I would be the insurgent trying to protect my homeland and my way of life because this is how I grew up. And I don't know who these people are and they're trying to impose their will on me and I don't want it.
Right.
You can at least sympathize with the lives that are upended because of this conflict.
Of course.
You know, when we talk about the civilians that have to deal with this, you know, especially in the situation that you talked about where they, you know, don't have what we have. You know, like I immigrated from a country where refrigeration was a luxury.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so, you know, there's more involved than just, you know, the A side and B side.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Drone warfare scares me.
I give up. I can't make everyone have respect for people who die or who are willing to for us, especially politically ignorant. Dude, listen. You can recognize that the American military is incredibly exploitative and it's basically a poor person's draft in many respects. There's a lot of middle class people and upper middle class people that join as well, but most people join because they want to fucking get a free college degree and all these other amenities that other fucking comparable OECD nations provide for all of their citizens unconditionally. But you have to recognize, no matter what you say, that what you are repeating here is just jingoistic, American exceptionalist propaganda that you have been fed hook, line, and sinker that you're repeating in this chat over and over again while simultaneously considering other people politically ignorant. You are the ignorant person. If you truly support the American troops, okay, then you would not support the ongoing wars that we are actively engaging in. And also, you would not offer unconditional support to every American troop. I don't give a fuck if you are a military veteran, okay? Being a good person is so much more important than that. There are plenty of brilliant, awesome, incredible veterans who feel conflicted with what they did, who feel conflicted about their service, who understand what they did, recognize it, and speak out against it. About Face is a great example of this, one of the organizations, the one that Mike Preisner is a part of as well. I think it was Veterans Against Foreign Wars, I believe. Like, there are plenty of people who joined for a multitude of different reasons, maybe because they were poor, maybe because they were escaping, like, you know, the horrific conditions. But this notion that, like, you know, these are people who are willing to die for us, like, you fucking piece of shit. It's about their intent and reason why they joined that I will respect. Like, you are speaking like someone who is not a part of the military. I assume you're not. That was the old org. It's About Face, Veterans Against the War now. Yeah. Like, stop hiding behind cowardly American propaganda. Okay? Stop it. Left flank vets as well.
Robert E. Lee, who was a Confederate general during the Civil War, said, "It is good that war is terrible, lest we become accustomed to it." I get it. I know. I quoted a Confederate general. The whole of the internet is going to explode now. But he has an excellent point. If we do not experience the
This guy is like firing off self-reports, dude.
terrors of war, it will be war without end because there is nothing to lose. Drone warfare terrifies me because it separates the human experience of war from the act of killing. Look at the only people who feel the experience are the drone warfare operators, and they are going through mental health crisis left, right, and center because they stare at the people's faces and those people have no idea it's coming, none whatsoever. If we lose empathy for the results of war, we are doomed to repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. And what do we do when it's on us?
With the intelligence like it is, it's so imprecise that if you take a 5-digit grid coordinates and 5 digits the other way, if one digit is wrong, you miss the target. And so if the intelligence is off by the most minor degree, you're going to miss the target. And then, you know, where do the munitions end up? Where do they land? You know, and a big I'm sorry when we get around to it 6 months later. So it's too flaky and shaky.
They made the controllers for some of our automated weapons. They turned them into Xbox-style controllers because the argument is, because you know we understand Xbox controllers. This generation understands this style of controllers, and it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to pull the trigger and think that there's no consequence.
Look, I'm sorry, I can't even wait till I sit down. I understand everything you're both saying about how technology can affect what can happen in the world, precision strikes all over, but to sit there and take, in my opinion, a naive perspective in saying that drone technology is going to have such a profound effect when it comes to the impact of how we conduct the business of war, because it is a business at the end of the day. If it can prevent the loss of life, precise strikes to limit the loss of our brothers and sisters' lives, I am 100% for it. The humanity of war, of you taking a life and me seeing that, and the emotional impact of the rest of the people in that room, versus one person sitting on a computer who we can keep in a safe environment and provide mental health and care for, where's the real downside? We are still taking life, regardless. But it's being done in a precise manner that is actually preventing the loss of our soldiers' lives.
Dude, that's so scary, dude. That's such a fucking terrible take. It's like, it just kind of goes to show you the lack of consideration to the lives that these people have taken, if they have actually taken lives. They just don't give a fuck. Like, they don't care that we're just blowing people up regularly, dude. That's fucking wild to me. It is wild to me that, like, we can have a conversation about this. Like, we can have a debate about this. Like, you know, which way should we murder people? Well, you know, if we do drones, like, you know, our KD will look better.
Only disagreed because I'm more in the middle, honestly. I've seen the positive and the negative that can come out of drones. Like you said, you can minimize the loss of life by not having a pilot up there. But I completely agree with what you were saying, where it's becoming like almost like a video game. So I'm kind of in the middle, honestly.
But what's the difference from you pushing that button or sitting up there with a Mark 19 raining down on a village 40 millimeter grenades, raining down hellfire?
There's a psychological difference between you doing it and seeing it in person on the ground versus doing it from behind or in like a room from a drone. You know, I think like I said, I'd have to do a lot more research and figure out the specifics, but I think there's a psychological difference between those two types of kills.
Okay, but what you're saying there is you would rather inflict more harm and mental
Bro,
anguish.
this is psychotic. Like, normal humans should look at this conversation between two people and recognize how psychotic this convo is. This is like, this is insane, dude.
Anguish on the soldier by physically being there, by pulling that trigger, by letting that Mark 19 40 millimeter grenade go,
Right.
and rip and watch the destruction they're doing and put them
Right.
into anxiety and depression and PTSD versus it being a video game that they can turn off and begin to function as a normal human being and not have that long-term damage.
But the thing you're forgetting is it's not a video game. Those are real people that they just killed with that drone.
Oh,
so
no.
the psychological effects might be the exact same.
They could be. And no, I'm very well aware that those are real people. I've walked in those deserts. I've walked down those streets. I know exactly what you're talking about. If you're telling me that with your experience and your PTSD, if you couldn't take that away and put yourself in a
Are they going to talk about, like, who's dying in the process at any point? Like, what the fuck's going on, dude? He's just like, dude, my PTSD is so bad from doing the murders. Like, we should eliminate that PTSD by doing the murders from really far away. Like, how about not doing the murders? I don't know. Like, am I crazy? Just don't do the fucking murders. I feel like
in a space to be able to have gone through that experience and not dealt with the fallout and the repercussion, the fear. You wouldn't want that?
If I am fighting an enemy that I have no connection to, and they are fighting an enemy that they have no connection to, what is the incentive to stop?
The answer is very clear, mutual self-destruction. Nuclear technology has been around for years.
wait, shut the fuck up. Like, okay, are we giving Afghanistan a nuke? Is that the advocacy that we're engaging in? Like, we should give Iran, fuck stopping their nuclear program. We should give them the nukes. My man said mutual self-destruction. Yeah, dude, the mutual self-destruction of, like, Yemen being under a forced famine as a consequence of, like, the Saudi regime blockades and active warfare and bombs being dropped upon Yemen every day, American bombs like that. Where's the mutual self-destruction there? What are they going to do, bro? Are they going to fight back? Like, how are they going to fight back? With slingshots, dude?
So many, how many countries in the world have access to nuclear technology right now?
Plenty.
Plenty. Why hasn't one nuke been fired?
They have been. The Pakistani-Indian border, they've been throwing them at each other left and right.
Left and right, yes, but on a global scale, realistically, why haven't any of the superpowers launched? Why hasn't China?
I mean, your point is solid, mutually assured destruction, but the argument still stands. Why is North Korea continually trying to find a way to get a missile to our shores, to load it with a payload? Because as soon as they can do it from over there, they will. At what point does it stop? At what point do we have people who are not wearing a uniform, who are in control of the trigger, saying, you know what, this group of people today, boop.
You don't think there's political and economic fallout of that? That's going to hit on a deeper scale. I mean, realistically, you're talking about hundreds of people being taken out.
That's
You got
foreign
one-off
intervention.
kill situations that are
That's,
happening.
that's any foreign intervention. I think the cost of dissonance is actually greater on the political aspect of this. If a politician can wage war without sending their troops, and I agree with you, like I care about the health and well-being of our troops.
I agree with that
politics involved.
wholeheartedly. That part of
Yes.
the argument is not in question.
Yeah, but if they're so easily able to wage war because of drone technology, then we're again separating ourselves from the human cost of it.
The military receives too much funding.
Bro, they should have had like some anti-war vets, dude. Like they should have had some fucking anti-imperialist veterans. Like, what the fuck is this? This conversation is like almost like a circle jerk from the point of view of imperialism. It's just, it is turned into propaganda.
I can already sense the answers with the people that don't agree with me. We spend a drastic amount of money on our department.
Anti-war vets don't exist. You're literally wrong. You are wrong. You're surrounded by them in this chat.
Of Defense. A lot of
What
that
are you
money
talking
just
about?
doesn't even go to the troops themselves. It goes to defense contractors and research and development. And our military is so large and so spread out that when you get to the level of the individual soldier, sailor, service member, there's not a lot of money to invest in them personally, especially when you're looking at equipment or, healthcare, things like that, So we've gotten used to this conversation where, if we don't spend all this money on the military, we're not supporting our troops. And truthfully, I just think that money could be used more wisely to invest in our troops, especially when they get out, so that they don't have to face these battles alone.
You know what? You said something there that made me waver.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you know the pushback that you were expecting.
Absolutely.
You're right. You're 100% right. Esprit de corps, how could you say we need to cut back on defense spending?
Right.
There's a lack of accountability and transparency that's happening.
Absolutely.
It's being hidden under documents of paperwork that are being submitted to Congress and the Senate for approval. In defense spending, realistically, we're what? How many times over the next country?
The next 13 countries combined,
Yeah.
we spend more than them.
Yeah, it was the next
a lot.
13 combined, exactly.
Especially because departments within the military, right? How many times have you heard use or lose, right?
Oh
the
my
end of
God.
Exactly.
the end of the fiscal year
Oh
is
my
coming.
God.
If you don't use the rest of your budget, you risk budget cuts, and now your unit's buying a whole bunch of BS that they didn't have before and needed.
Well, and the worst part about it is we're spending this money, and the common phrase in the military, made by the lowest bidder.
Right.
You're not getting quality equipment. You're getting, it's tested, but it's not the best piece of equipment you can have based upon the amount of money that's spent.
As a person who has to make decisions for a company level, and I assist in making some decisions for a battalion staff, one of the most frustrating statements that I hear when I'm making a training plan or when I'm doing a maintenance plan is, there's just no funding for that. And what do you mean there's no funding for that? Like, we got money for this thing over here. Yeah, well, there was funding for that. Well, where did that money go? Well, that's a different pot of money. How do I get into that pot of money? You can't touch that pot of money. Why can't I touch that pot of money? Because it's for this thing. Well, okay, well, let's do that thing. No, can't do that. Why? Because there's no money for that. I can't describe the level of frustration being in the Army Reserves and wanting to make my unit the best possible unit in our region, in our theater, and time after time, well, we just have to wait.
You stupid fucks. America literally protects the world. From what? America? America does not protect the world, brother. America makes the world a less safe place. maybe the same could be said about any hegemonic power if the roles were reversed. But this notion that America protects the world is completely psychotic. Okay? America certainly doesn't protect you from the top of the hour ad, though. Because it's coming. There's a 60-second ad break. Now, a thing that can protect you from the top of the hour ad break, though, is a subscription. Whether a $5 a month subscription or a Twitch Prime, which is a free subscription, or use an ad block or a VPN, you can protect yourself from the ad break and enjoy an ad-free broadcasting experience. Here's the ad now.
Because there's no money for that.
One of the things that frustrated me and that frustrates me now looking back at how much I was making in the military, and you're not making a lot of money. And going back to what you said, it's like all this money that the US government has, why don't we spend more on just the paychecks of the members?
Trans people should be allowed in the military.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect this.
Really?
Yeah, me either.
Okay. Honestly, why didn't you expect it?
Bro, they are such libs. They didn't even get like a hardcore hoorah dipshit chud vet either. Like, they didn't get the classic military veteran that is a meme at this point. They didn't get a single one of those guys, okay? They're all libs. And they don't even have a fucking like leftist, like anti-imperialist veteran either.
Especially when I was in, there's a lot of concern with the readiness aspect of it. You know, being able to support soldiers that are transitioning, things like that.
Right.
The reason why I came to the middle is because as long as they meet the standard and that it doesn't affect readiness, I see absolutely no problem with it, because the Department of Defense has done this before, where they've barred gay people, women from certain things, and those same questions were brought up, and now they're integrated into the force.
One of my cycles in basic training, we did what we call icebreakers. It's the first time that the soldiers actually interact with the drill sergeants where we are not yelling at them. One of the soldiers stood up, introduced at that time himself, and said, "I am so-and-so. I have joined because I want to get my money for college so that I can go to fashion design because I really want to be on RuPaul's Drag Race." And I said, "All right, hey, live your truth, kid. I don't have a problem with that at all, you know?" And that, at that time, male soldier came to me later and said, "Drill sergeant, I don't know how to express this because I've heard some things." That some tweets went out from a particular guy who was in charge at the time who said, "We're not going to allow transgendered soldiers in the military." And they said, "Hey, you know, I'm transgendered." And I said, "Listen, what's stopping you from serving? What's stopping you?" They went to their chain of command, and the chain of command said, "Well, I mean, you do your job, and you do it as well or better than anybody else here, so it doesn't affect force readiness, so start the process." She is now serving in Germany in the Army, and there has been absolutely no force multiplier loss at all. If the person has joined the military for the purpose of serving the military, I can't see myself saying you should not be allowed to serve. As long as we're in the uniform, we all have to put the uniform first. And if they're willing to put the uniform first and they want to serve honorably, then hell yes. Who am I to say no?
When I was a counselor, a peer counselor at a vet center, and I put together this group, and I had a guy who was a Navy corpsman. The guy was extremely gay. I mean, verbally, visibly gay.
My man said this dude was gay as fuck, dude. He was visibly gay.
And he wanted a place in the group. And I said, okay. And then I called other buddies of mine, friends of mine, about this gay guy wants to be in the group. But none of them had an answer. And I went to the one guy I knew, a guy named Kerry Murbach from Las Vegas. And he says, Culmer, he says, "What's the problem?" And after I thought about it, I was the problem. Right. And I didn't have any particular negative feelings, but I kept going around to try to find somebody to help me make a decision. And there's nobody available because there was no decision to be made.
I know that one of the biggest questions that is the question of should transgendered persons serve in the military comes up quite a bit. The common answers that we receive from the pushback is, well, where do we house them? What barracks do they stay in? The male barracks or the female barracks?
Yeah, that's...
The words they try and put in our mouths, and by they I mean individuals who have not served or individuals who are the empty cans that rattle so loudly even if they're serving, it's because they refuse to look at people at an individual level and what they're doing and who they are. Don't come to me and tell me that.
The unfortunate reality is that because America's main economy revolves around murder, the Pentagon is also the largest hiring organization for trans people on the planet. That is a reality, unfortunately.
We can't have trans soldiers serving because taxpayer money. I don't come to where you work and tell you how to mow a f***ing lawn.
Yeah.
All right?
Case closed. Yeah.
I would encourage my children to enlist.
Why?
Honestly, free education, truth. I am forever grateful for the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Bro, we will never get free college in this country. Do you understand? We will never get free college in this country. And this is one of the most important reasons as to why, okay? We just will not. Like, how sad is it that in European countries, okay, these socialist European countries where they're teaching homosexuality and transgender rights in colleges, you can just get this shit for nearly free or free. And you can improve the American labor force, make it more competitive internationally. And the government provides that for you without you having to blow your fucking body up. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. It's not even just OECD nations, though. I mean, Turkey has free college. But here in America, you got to sell your body to the American military, baby. And only then can you get a fucking communications degree and also sell life insurance to all your fucking friends. With, of course, nice little PTSD on the side, though, as seasoning to fuck your day up.
I became a very different person because of education. And I can't imagine being thousands and thousands of dollars in debt right now, having to pay that back.
Adding to what you're saying, I would qualify the statement of I would encourage my children by saying the encouragement is there. It's not a forced, hey, you better join. Like, it's not that. It's if you don't know what the next steps are, if you don't have a plan, and most people don't, they don't know what comes after high school. Why don't you go someplace where they already have a plan and you can just fit into the plan for a little bit?
I want to ask...
Dude, that's so terrible, dude. Yeah, that's called fucking college, dog. What the fuck?
About your children, would you tell them when they became eligible to enter the military, would you tell them about, assuming educational benefits are the same at that time, would you encourage them as a result of the benefits that they could be entitled to? And if so, suppose 20 minutes later a war starts and they have to go to war. How do they deal with that after hearing from you, their dad, the benefits?
Right, yeah.
You know, realistically, I mean,
Whenever you say texting Tommy, I'm actually looking at Twitter to see fucking spicy takes. I'm not gonna call them out. They're I just saw one that was ridiculous. Like, you're going to a 4th of July party today, you should be willing, or you should be ready to have a conversation about the true history of this country. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, dude, just sometimes it's normal to just like drink beer and fucking grill, okay? It doesn't have to, like, that doesn't mean you're justifying like America's genocidal foundations, okay? Just fucking chill. I promise you, it's fine, okay? It literally is okay to have just a little bit of fun as a treat. You know what I mean? Just like be around friends and stuff. And grill meats. It's a holiday for non-white people we celebrate, but not for independence. Like, I'm Turkish, okay? This does not, like, the 4th of July was not baked into my mind growing up because I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Turkey, okay? But I love it. I think it's great to just get together and drink brews in the middle of the day and then fucking grill some goddamn delicious meats, okay? I don't understand why people just can't experience it for that, you know? I'm Native American. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but it's good family time. Exactly. Exactly. Well, you're also Canadian, I think. Or, well, Indigenous First Nations from Canada, if your name is Mellow Canuck. Grilling meat is horrible. It ruins the taste. I will ban you. I will literally fucking ban you.
I've
Shut
got
up.
I've got a daughter who's going to be turning 11 and a son that just turned 6. Okay, and just to openly share, I'm recently widowed. So thinking about the build out and what that looks like for children. Now being a single parent and having to look at that, war is definitely something you need to think about. But at that stage in life, you're going to have a general idea of who your child is and what they're about.
I was in that situation in 99.
My friends are posting Instagram infographics about genocide. They're the no fun leftist side. I mean, dude, if you want to inform people about Native American genocide, indigenous genocide, certainly go off. Like, there is no problem with doing that on your social media. I'm just saying that, like, if you're going to a party and, like, if you're going to a fucking party and people have invited you there and you're like, I cannot believe you guys are here to celebrate today. What we are celebrating is the mass what we're celebrating here today is the genocide of an indigenous population, like, that we still absolutely destroy on the daily. It's like, okay. I mean, that sucks, dude. You just fucked the vibes up a little bit. You know? I treat it as a day to fucking get together and, eat grilled meats. Okay? That's the way I look at it. You look so stupid right now. Zero awareness right now. You look so stupid right now. 6-month subscriber. This motherfucker has subscribed for 6 months. Only to once say play Neo. Then to say who even ran on defunding the police. And now to just say I look stupid because I said enjoy yourselves. Okay? I've seen conservative posts that if you hate America, then you shouldn't celebrate Independence Day. Thoughts? Yeah, who cares what conservatives think, dude? Like, you're really gonna fucking lose sleep over what dumbass hogs think? They also believe in QAnon and shit. Look at what's going on in Canada with indigenousness kids. I mean, not only did I briefly talk about it, but I also rated the Surf's charity stream for it. So, also, I don't care about fucking Canada. I'm sorry, okay? We're talking about America, baby. It's the 4th of July, and we're talking about America's Independence Day. Okay? How dare you bring up Canada in this? I didn't realize we were talking about America's hat, okay? With a goddamn leaf on their fucking flag. We get to celebrate our independence from the Brits. You don't. The Queen still cucks Canada every day. Also, I don't know why you're like upset about literally found hundreds of dead kids. Oops. Okay, but like, what does that have to do with? What does that have to do with going to a fucking 4th of July party and grilling with your friends? Like, we're not even talking about it. America has done a fuckload of Native American genocide. Of course, the United States has, obviously. But like, why are you bringing up an example from fucking Canada? Like, am I talking about Canada Day right now? Like, do you think I'm learning about this from you just right now? When I already told you that not only am I aware of it, but also this community helped raise money for a charity that will hopefully uncover more of the children, the indigenous children that were murdered in residential schools or died in residential schools. Like, what does this have to do with anything? Fuck America, but I will use the holiday to hang out with friends and eat good food, same as Thanksgiving. Exactly.
I joined knowing that Kosovo was a thing that could happen to me. And then it wasn't Kosovo, and then it was Iraq. And the first thing my father said was, I know what you're about to go into, because he had been in Vietnam. The military gives us expensive knowledge. That's what we want the younger generation to have, our children to have. We want them to have the expensive knowledge. The problem.
I think Canadians are just mad that they still haven't been able to gain their independence from the British. I'm just gonna say it, dude. You did genocide instead of stopping it. Seems good. What? Oh, you're talking about him. Yeah. Sorry, Canadians. Maybe one day, okay? I'm feeling America as fuck right now, dude.
Problem with expensive knowledge is you don't get the benefits of the knowledge until you've gone through the experience. And that experience can be expensive.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause and bring Mahadi in.
Oh yeah, you were back there. Look at this little guy.
Holy Christ,
still here.
yeah.
I heard him laugh.
Yeah.
I heard the chuckle.
Jesus Christ.
First of all, I'd like to say that I mostly agree with everything that you guys said, but, for example, like when we talk about college, right? College being outrageously expensive in this country. I think a more productive way to address that is, why is college in our country so expensive? I'm not sure if, as a parent, I would be comfortable with rolling the dice with my children when it comes to mental health, physical health, injuries, things like that. I can provide my knowledge, my experience, those that I've met, veterans that I've met, but because you want what's best for your child, right? And so, yeah, I'm not entirely opposed to it, I guess is the answer you're looking
you talk
for.
about wanting the best for them, but what's
Right.
the actual feeling you have on it? How do you genuinely feel about it as an individual, not the parent wanting the best for their child? Is this something that you'd sit there and say, look, I get it, I support you because I actually believe in it, or I'm going to support you because I'm your parent and I see the other side of it, and that kind of gives me that drawback of saying,
because look, I benefited from the military greatly. Like I would not be sitting here the way I am today if it was not for the military, So I totally understand that aspect, But like I said, I just seen it go wrong too many times, like young people coming back with shrapnel across their face, and their life is, in the hands of the U.S. government, and I'm not entirely comfortable with just that aspect of it.
Hey, man, that's good. It's good. Yeah, I like your idea.
Of course.
Yeah, the black shirt goatee dude was in the stock market video defending hedge funds, like straight up, unconditionally offering full-blown support to the hedge funds. So, guy in VR talks about their worst day as a soldier. Yeah, I don't want to watch that right now. That's a classic, though.